Hi everyone. Before the light completely dies on me, as in it's getting towards the late afternoon, and I've been meaning to film this video for a few hours now, but as it happens, I'm still sick with Mason. We've been coughing and coughing, although we had a few days where it felt like we were completely fine, and then it just came back in, and yeah, I feel like I coughed my brains out. What I wanted to talk today about is that it's going to be like a catch-up video, because I realized I haven't done a catch-up video for September, and September has been one of those kind of transitioning months for me, where I was heavily relying on the thought that my toddler will start nursery in the, what was it, the first or the second week of September, and I was convinced that I would have finally some time to myself and be able to concentrate more on my art and taking things further, etc. However, now this is something I actually tend to talk about and then I cut it out when I edit videos, but today I want to keep it real. And maybe some of you have experienced a similar thing and you can contribute to the comments down below. But basically we opted for a private school, and it's just not exactly what I expected. Some things are positive and some are negative. So for example, the nursery that he started going to, it's part of the school, which I thought would be a great idea. So he's kind of gets ready for next year, preschool and all of that. However, if he's a bit naughty, or he has been quite naughty there, they just call you and they expect you to go and get him, and that is it. And I think, from a normal nursery, regular nursery, I don't think this would be the case. They would have to find a way to deal with a naughty child. I mean, how would you expect the mother to never have any time to herself and just sit at home with a toddler? He needs to be with children. It's just the most bizarre thing ever to me. And obviously he, first he got sick, I'm pretty sure, at the nursery, and so we kind of stayed home for a week, and then it was next week he went back in, and then he got sort of sick again. So the sicknesses, I think it's a regular thing that happens at nurseries. But basically I'm at the moment actually spending more time trying to figure out what to do about the nursery thing. Yeah, September has been a very challenging month. Nevertheless, I tried to push through and actually had some successes in terms of my illustrations, which has been very surprising. And I guess this is the reason I'm doing this video today, is because of this page that you're looking at right now. It was a total surprise to me. I felt, I'm still sick. I feel a bit frustrated about the nursery and kind of just not in a great state right now. So I thought I'll just illustrate, and usually what tends to happen in that sort of circumstance, it doesn't come out that well. So I was very surprised that even though everything around me wasn't sort of feeling right or great, I managed to break through with my art, and that felt pretty good. So that's the reason why I wanted to explain to you that sometimes if we don't feel great, we tend to think, oh, I'd rather not sketch in my sketchbook because it probably will come out bad. But today is a great example when it actually was the opposite. And I think this page is one of the most successful ones in like the last 12 months. So yeah. So that's what I wanted to mention. The other thing I wanted to say is that I started stamping the day and the date as well. So kind of looks a little bit like a journal. It sort of looks like a daily journal, or like a diary that you, instead of just writing your thoughts, you use your illustrations. And that brings me to the next point. Do you remember this video I made? I think it was last week. I actually filmed it, I think about 2 weeks ago, but yeah, September 13th, so about 2 weeks ago. And but I think I published it last week. But the point is that I tried to create some sort of journaling, and I thought I might go ahead with it. But the truth is, I love this type of style, but most times, most days, I just do not have the time in the day to be spending like 50 minutes on this sort of page. And as you can see, when I filmed, I said I will leave a little bit of space for writing. I still didn't write anything, and I know exactly what I want to write, but that kind of situation where you just need to pick up your fountain pen and just start writing, I feel very apprehensive about. I don't know what it is. I just feel apprehensive about putting my thoughts onto paper in the same way that I used to feel about art. Like I would think I'm scared to paint because I will make a mess. So I feel like if I write something and it doesn't sound right or it doesn't look great, you know, like I will ruin the page in a way. So that's a bit of a drawback. But what I wanted to say is that by stamping the date and the day, so the thing that I've been doing, like I said, is the day and the date stamps, and I have discovered this Archival ink in shadow grey. I'm now keeping it quite far in a drawer so that Mason doesn't replace it, because I had the black one, the jet black, and he replaced it to such an extent that I still cannot find it, and it's been like a month or so. So I'm keeping them now deep in the drawer where even I can't get them very easily. So shadow grey, gorgeous, gorgeous, perfect type of grey. It's very chic, it's very kind of modern, clean looking, and I just think that as it stands right now, to me, this is the type of journaling that I can do, you know, and it's very achievable. And yeah, it's just literally just kind of swatching and doing illustrations and that type of thing, and that's all I need. I feel that I don't have to have words if I don't feel like it. You know, if I look at this page, I remember exactly sort of the mood I was in when I was illustrating, and it just makes me concentrate on the certain colors or textures, you know, rather than words. And to me right now, that's what works best, and I thought I will share that with you just in case you feel the same. So that's what I've been doing, and I will do like a little flip through where I started with this sketchbook. So this is my Stillman Birn. It is the Alpha series, so the paper that's a little bit thinner compared to their Beta series, which is typically used for watercolors. However, I have to say that when I started it, I didn't know where I wanted to go with it, what I want to have in this journal, and I kept kind of changing my ideas about it. And yeah, so what I realized, the best thing that works is what I've done last. So I tried to do some mixed media, and with a lot of water it doesn't work very well. But it does look great when you use quite little water. So you can see sort of this sort of thing, or this type of thing. You can use mixed medias like stamps and like ink stamps. This is the Tim Holtz Distress ink, watercolors, inks, drawing and writing inks. All of that is fine. I'm not sure how it would do with alcohol markers, just because I don't tend to use them very often, and I haven't used them in a long time. So pencils obviously are fine. So this is where I was going. So I've done this from Mindy Lacefield's YouTube tutorial. She had like a very short video where she used acrylics, and although I, you know, used to detest acrylics, I have actually found something very, very interesting and discovered through taking her little tutorial. Well, I basically went with her style, the head shape and things like that, but I tried to bring my colors and my style into it. So and what I discovered is something I want to make a video on, is how I mix these colors. So actually it's just white what I used, and like a white acrylics, heavy body acrylics, and then I used certain pigments to create these colors. So I thought I should go out and buy you know, sets of acrylic paint, but then I thought, I don't know what I will actually use it that much, and for experiments like this, although I'd like to go back to this style, you know, I'm not going to use all of those tubes, right? So I found a fantastic way of using up certain products that I already owned and had. So I will share that with you in case you're interested. And obviously the difference between acrylic paints and watercolors is the layering. So you can, with acrylics, you can layer on top and build up the colors because they're completely opaque. Whereas with watercolors, you can't really do that. So yeah. That's something that's coming. Now here is another page I'm super proud of. Let me just zoom out a touch. Hope you can see right here. So I've done 3D illustrations and it looks so finished. It looks so good to me. And again, I've done this sort of stamping here, which is just what I need. I don't need anything else. And yeah, really happy with how the whole layout looks, both pages. I don't feel like I need to overcram and add something on here. I feel that this illustration is good enough on its own. And then I have some experimental styles over here. I've got polychromos. Something I have also been experimenting with is how much actually pressure I use with the polychromos, because I realized I quite like them when combined with inks or watercolors. And then just, for example, on a darker watercolor or ink base, I like to layer them, and with different pressure point you will get a really interesting effect, which I will show you in a second. So these two at the bottom were actually my least favorite, but once I started going further and adding more kind of detail that pleased my eye, then I was really happy with how they came out. And this one as well has a bit of gold in her hair. So yeah, that's all good. And then this one I've done yesterday in the spirit of Inktober, which is another point I want to mention in this video. Inktober started on the 1st of October and it was created by Jake Parker, who came up with this idea in, I think, in 2009. So he gave himself this project of illustrating, drawing with ink every single day of October, with the hope that he would get better at it or improve his skills. And yeah, and I think these days it's been taken so creatively, this idea, that now I think you can do it literally with any medium that you feel like, and it doesn't have to be solely just ink. You can do it with all sorts of mediums and do it every day, again, just for the sake of improving your drawing skills. Now, I've done Inktober last year, and when I look back at it, in fact, let me just get that sketch. This was the first day, and there's like a, for every day there is a word that you have to kind of be inspired by and create an illustration. And yeah, so this was the first one, which is quite different in sense of these look a lot more polished compared to that. And there's loads and loads. Some of them I liked, some of them not really. These are not bad. So some of them I actually would sort of do something about, like I would scan them or, you know, use them in some sort of sense. But oh yeah, this one was one of my favorite ones. Is the bunny girl. I really love her. She's just so fabulous. So that was for the word shattered. Yeah, so some things like this one I am not proud of, but you could see it as a style on its own. It doesn't have to be, you know, one specific style. So they're not that bad, to be honest with you. This one is not great. I like her face, but don't like this thing going on. But the point is that, you know, here we go, a year later, having spent a whole month on illustrating something, I feel that throughout the year I would go back to it. So this was in the kind of in the spirit of Inktober that I did yesterday, and this is very much my style, that very simple, simplistic kind of just the face, and then, you know, some sort of detail, either bunny ears or some sort of. I have really enjoyed adding quite a bit of detail to the dress, but sort of still keeping it within the I feel like not too much detail, which is what I like. So that's what's been going on. And the other thing I wanted to say, there was something else. Oh yeah, so two more things. So I really love how this came out. I haven't tried this before, but let me actually zoom in for you. So this is in fact Core Quinacridone Gold. This watercolor right here, you can see how intense it is when it is has minimal water in there. It's a very wide range, and then here with a bit of water it looks quite different, but I love how it looks when combined with the Waterman ink. It just looks so beautiful. It just, yeah, does something to one another that really I find quite interesting here. And then finally, actually when I started this page, I started it with this illustration first, and I thought, I actually still have it sitting here in the tray, so I thought, let me kind of use it as painting, drawing ink. And that is, let me just zoom out again so you can see a bit better. So this is the, what's it called? Noodler's ink, the Heart of Darkness. When I first bought it, I had to pay quite a lot of money because it's a big bottle and it was shipped from the US. Yeah, it's a 4.5 ounces, so it's a huge bottle compared to these 50 mils that I have of the other two inks that I use consistently. Now, this happened to be my least favorite ink. First of all, I bought it because I needed a waterproof ink, and I was looking into different inks, and that ink came up a lot of times. Now, when I got it and I started painting with it or drawing, I was very disappointed because it was not water soluble at all. Then, sort of now with the two other inks that I have, so I've got the carbon ink, which is a waterproof, and the second one, which is a water soluble, is the Waterman ink, and that's the one you can see here. It's just stunning. I mean, the ink itself is just a genius product. So compared to those two inks that I have, here's a combination of the two that I just mentioned. So if I want the eyes to have detail, I put them usually with carbon ink, and the other lines that I know I want to soften with the water, I then can do with Waterman ink. But this ink here is that Noodler's ink that I just showed you, the Heart of Darkness, and it just looks very different to the other two inks, or obviously to this ink in particular, because that's the only water-soluble ink that it is. So it's a very kind of warm grey, kind of black, compared to the milky, bluish, kind of cool-toned grey that this one is. And I thought that I might start using this ink, and yeah, I just tried it in this hair kind of bowl thing, and I don't like it whatsoever. I just do not. So it's a bit disappointing because I thought at least I could use it that way, but no, it doesn't look like it. I mean, it comes with a pipette, so that's quite neat. Squeeze it out into your tray, but I just don't like the color and the look of it at all. So one more thing I wanted to to share before I go is when I said to you that I quite like the polychromos, using them over ink or watercolor that is a dark base. So here, for example, a good example is where in the eyeshadows, so in this area right here, I have gone with that this color, which is, it looks like a mango color, but it's called dark chrome yellow. So I've got over it, but I didn't want it to be so distinct, so I didn't use too much pressure and just very lightly, so it becomes part of that kind of ink base, and it did add quite a nice warmth to it to go with that orangey lip. That's all I wanted to share today, and I hope you enjoyed this catch-up video. A little delayed, but it's only a couple of days into October. So yeah, let me know how you get on with Inktober, whether you're participating or not. And I will not do it this year just for the reason that I cannot commit to everyday videos as it is right now. Still trying to get Mason to go to nursery as often as the nursery will have him, basically. So yeah, there's loads to do, but I will upload whatever ink related that I do, because my style is anyway this basically, so it goes hand in hand with Inktober. So if I do any of these illustrations, I'll try to upload them into my Instagram account, so you can have a look there. It's Alyona in Fashion Love, and that is it for today. Thanks for watching and see you soon.